class in person, and we are talking conflict resolution. You wrote a book on conflict resolution. Take it away.
Right. When it comes to conflict resolution, one person cannot do it. I mean, a wife or a husband cannot do it by himself or by herself. They need to come together. And there will never be resolution until they both humble themselves and talk eyeball to eyeball. You know, I always recommend counseling when it's getting out of hands, that they start eating one another. You know, the husband is already slapping, or sometimes it's the woman that starts beating the man. And sometimes you see the man taking it in for a long time and doesn't want to beat the woman. And the woman can take advantage of that and abuse that over a period of time. And as a man, you don't want to go out there and say, oh, my wife has been beating me up. You know, you feel ashamed of yourself. And if you beat her back, and people hear that, they say, oh, abusive man and all that. So now, to come to that place of resolution, both of you need to calm down, humble yourself, and talk. So I was trying to say that I only recommend counseling when it gets to beating one another, or is getting out of hands, that life of someone is at risk, either the man or woman. You know, we always focus on the woman aspect.
And we don't
But
talk about
sometimes
the
some men are going through stuff that they are just taking it in, and they've been so depressed, frustrated, their blood pressure is, you know, skyrocketed, and they don't have peace of mind. And you know, as a man, when a man does not have peace of mind, you can't function well. You can't function effectively when you don't have peace of mind. When you're going back home, you're like, oh, I don't know what next is going to happen tonight. I don't know what next I'm going to say. So you don't want to talk. You keep to yourself. But it's very important, if it's getting out of hand, you start beating one another, get a counselor. Speak to a counselor. But if it has not got to that level, my advice for couples is that let your marriage stay in your home. What happens in there, let it stay in there. Both of you should be humble enough. It's lack of humility that make people not wanting to listen to one another and talk things out and look into one another's eye and say, we got to fix this. We got to talk. And when you can humble yourself and talk, there will be resolution. That's the starting point. But when you don't want to talk, you can never get to that place of resolution in your marriage. So you need to be humble. You got to be humble. Both sides must be humble. You know, so when they are both humble, they come together and talk. Now, I say this, allow God to be the only third party in your marriage. The moment you start talking to your friend, to your siblings, to your parents about your marriage, it's a taboo. You are looking for trouble. Don't discuss your issue in your marriage with your siblings, with your friends, even with your parents on some circumstances, because they were going to keep on wanting feedback, even when you're at peace.
That's true.
And when they're looking for feedback, the update, what's going on now, even when you're at peace, they might say one or two things that they shouldn't have said that could as well affect you, your feeling, your emotion, even when you're already at peace. And you go back home, you start the drama all over again. So if you have keep your parents, your siblings, your friends away from your marriage, you maintain the peace in your marriage. That's why the place of humility is very crucial. As a man, as a woman, you got to be humble. You know, you got to be humble to talk to one another. You know, the help that you need, you can get it from one another right there in your home. So bringing third party into it, which is not God, going to create problems. The only third party allowing your marriage, that you should allow your marriage, should be God. So when you allow God as a third party, like I said earlier on, God speaks and he's still speaking. So it takes humility for you to go back to God. But when you want to have your way, it is my way. And now, if I can't have it now, I can't wait. Then there will be trouble. There will never be resolution. So humility is a key, very crucial, very important. God gave grace to the humble. And when you have grace, there will be resolution in your marriage.
This is such an important pillar. Let's call it a pillar Because if you go and approach a conversation from a position of humility, you are also going to be willing to listen and not just to be the one speaking.
Yep.
Because I've also found that every couple will tell you who the speaker is in the relationship. There's always one who's better at words
Yep.
than the other. And it takes humility for the one who's good in the talking to actually say, you know what? Let me stop and let me actually listen. It also takes humility for the one who always listens and doesn't talk to say, all right, let me get out of my comfort zone and speak.
Right.
And allow myself to express whether I'm sorry or the person has injured you, and to not pile up hurts and unforgiveness.
Right.
Because that's now where the earlier situation occurs, where you've got so much issues that is unresolved that we can even use the word hate.
Yeah. And even when you come together to talk, I say this to couple: you've got to allow your spouse, on both sides, allow your spouse to fully express himself or herself to you. Don't say that, oh, I know where you're going, I know what you're about to say, I got you. No, you don't know where she's going, you don't know where he's going. Allow him to fully express himself, then you can fully understand him. Allow her to fully express her heart, so that I can fully understand her. So, because if you do not fully understand your spouse, you will not really know where they're coming from, what is eating them on the inside. And you want to jump to conclusion, you want to base it on assumption, it will never work. You'll never find resolution when you jump into conclusion or assumption you assume things and you think that is it. Most of the time, what we assume is not real, not even there.
Sure. No, that is this thing of I know where you are going. Woo, a lot of us have made that mistake. Hope you guys are learning. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the